Mark here. I've got Evie with me today, and we're going to do a painting for you all. It's going to be a fairly quick one. It's just going to be a cat sat in a tree, actually. A very simple picture, nice and stylised, a sort of a graduated background with the moon and sort of a pinky sky. So it's quite a fantasy picture. And then we'll do a tree at the side and the branches coming through, and then there'll be a cat sat on the branch, just a silhouette of a cat sat there. So quite an easy one today for you to have a go at if you fancy having a go. Some of you have been sending me and emailing me paintings that you've been doing, and not just people from our art club either. I've had people sending me paintings from all over the place, which is really good, and I love to see that. So you never know, when the art club opens again, we might have a few new people. With any luck, you never know. So let's get going. The only colours I'm using on this particular picture, there's no drawing to be done at this stage, are these four colours. And here we have acrylic white, acrylic black, acrylic red, and I've got some gouache purple. But you can still do this with gouache paints, it doesn't hurt. I've used these because they're a wee bit stronger and it would save me going over it twice, so I can show you quite quickly. But if you've got acrylic colours, use them. We can also use pastel too to strengthen the colours after they've been dried off before we put the tree and the cat on. Okay, so let's get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the white. I'm going to put it down. You can't, unfortunately, because I've got no one manning the camera. I'll just check it's actually still filming.
It's still filming.
Oh, good. Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm the cameraman.
Yeah. Well, Evie's actually doing a picture, so she's not holding the camera. I've just got a tripod on the table, and we're using that. So unfortunately, you can't look down at my palette, but I've kept the palette fairly simple, and you can use pause button to listen to some of the things I'm saying about colour mixing, so that you can then mix it up yourself. But we start off with white, a good heap of white, a little bit of the red, I mean a really small amount, because the centre here we want to start nice and light, and we're going to gradually get darker as we come out, and then that will be dried, tree will come up, branches coming across, and a silhouette of a cat. So we only want a little bit of red. There's a tiny little dot of red on there. If you're using gouache, of course, you could use a little bit more because it's not so strong as the acrylic colour, but I know that red is very, very strong. So I'm putting that into my white, and that's made quite a nice pinky colour. I'm putting a little bit of purple in too, but a fraction, and of course the black won't be used until the cat and the branches of the tree are done to act as the silhouette against all this. So my first colour is this one. Okay, a little drop of water on my brush. There, that colour. So nice lightish pink. I'm going to start just about middle, I reckon, and I'm going to just do a circle like that. Okay, so try and do a circle. And once you've done the circle, you can start adding more red and more purple to that centre colour. No more white. So a tiny bit of red going in, because I'm using the acrylic, just a fraction. Look, so you see that? There's the red going in, just a little bit. Mix it in. A little bit of purple and more water on my brush, just to keep everything fluid. If your brush isn't fluid and wet, wettish, it won't flow off the brush very easily. Now I'm going to start to come away from that initial circle. Now that circle doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's in fact, I might blend it a bit there. Look, just do that to it. All right, just blend it. So now I've got that pink coming round. Now I'm going to start to add colours quickly. Purple going in, red going in. Water on my brush, and I'm going to come away from that. See, it's a little bit darker. Go over what you've done a little bit, so you get that nice blend. Keep it nice and circular. Again, purple going in, red going in. Okay, so it's only gradual changes. What we don't want to see are definite stripes. We want to see a subtle change. Here's the next one going in, a little bit darker. Make sure you've got enough on your brush. Go over what you've just done a little bit, and then bring it out. And then again, the same thing, more purple, more red, and more water. Subtle changes, mix it up. There's the next dark colour going in. Actually, it's not much darker, but it doesn't matter. Blend that, go over what you've just done a little bit too. so that you get that nice transition between the colours. And now I'm going to go darker still, purple, red, again, that's definitely darker now, and there we go. And now put newspaper on your table, because you're going to be going off the table, sorry, off the paper onto the table, because you want to keep doing those circles like this. Go over what you've done a little bit as well, and if you're finding it's all getting a bit sticky, just wet your brush a little bit. Just wet it a little bit. Oops. That's all right. Then darker again, more purple, more red. How's it going, Evie?
Good. I've just.
Oh yeah, you're all right. You're a little bit behind me, but that's fine. And then we're going to come again, darker, like this. Don't forget to add a little bit of water to your brush. And around we go, like that. And then we're going to go darker again, and you get the idea. We're just getting darker and darker and darker. And here we go. Go over what you've just done. As long as you keep going over a little bit of what you've just done with the soft tip of the brush, so you're feathering. I want a bit more water on that, it's gone a bit dry. You will always get a nice soft blend, all right? So remember that. I'm going to keep going out a little bit more there. Like that, going over what I've done a little bit. Now I'm going to go darker again. More water, mix it in, hold it up, and then you go. Gets a little bit easier when you get out to the outside, because you can just sort of do these curving shapes. Rather, you don't have to go right round, do you? But up there I did a little bit, but here you can just sort of bring them out. And if you start running out of paint, obviously you need to add more white and start trying to mix a colour that's a little bit darker than your last one. I just run out of white now, I run out of paint, so I'm trying to mix up a colour that's a wee bit darker. That looks a bit darker, purple and red going into the white. And there you go again. Perhaps needs a little bit more red and purple that time to give it that depth. Here we go, let's try that one. That's better. And then you can just bring that round, go over a little bit of what you just did. And blend it down into there. And I'm going to probably do my corners a bit darker, but I'll do the corners separately in a minute. Get a nice effect like that. And gradually getting lighter and lighter. Just mix up a bit more. Hopefully get it the same. Drop of water on my brush. Like that. A little bit darker maybe. And there we go. Bring it round, sweep it in. Nice curves. Try and keep them nice and similar both sides, so you get that circular feel to the whole thing. Drop more water on my brush, as I say, you know, get the feel of it. And you know when you're not sweeping very easily, it's because the brush is drying out. And if you just dip your brush in water, it goes all nice and wet again, and it'll flow better. Alright, just touch those in. Now these corners, I'm going to make it look like they're a bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to use more purple, a lot more purple, and a bit more red. So I've got a darker colour. Make sure I've got enough for each corner. Mix it in, so that's a darker colour than anything now. And I'm going to just bring these corners in like that. And there. Just blend over what you've done previous. A bit more there. And come in about the same amount as I did that side, in that same sort of curve. And then just enough there to do this bottom one here. Like that. So let's have a little look, stand back. Okay, so that's going to be dried off now. So I've got a hairdryer. I'm going to give it a quick blast. You right, Evie? Doing all right over there. Quick dry off. It doesn't have to be bone dry, just as long as it doesn't move around. If you lean on it, it'll stick to you. It can be sort of semi-dry, like that. Now, if you're worried that you didn't get your blends great, you can save it by using pastel at this stage. So, but you'd have to dry it fully off. So you dry it fully off, and then you could take some purple pastels or lilac chalks and all those sort of colours, and then you can sort of put some in if you want to. But obviously it's better to get it right with paint if you can. Now, there's a few damp bits in there, but I'm not going to worry. Next thing I've got is the black paint, and I'm going to do a silhouette of a tree and all that stuff, and I'm going to mix up the paint on top of that purple colour that I just used for the outside edges of there. So it's pure black, acrylic. If you've got it, go ash. If not, don't worry. And I'm going to bring a tree shape just down the side here, like that, not dead straight because it's an old tree. And then we colour it in. Right, my actual paper ends there, so that's my board. So don't worry, I am getting it good on the edge. And obviously that's right over to the edge of the paper anyway, so that's dead straight on that side when I take it off. But this side, we want it slightly wobbly, so it looks like an old tree, like that. So there's the side of the tree going in. And then we're going to bring some branches coming out of that. And it's going to be, I'm going to bring a branch out here. Think how a branch comes out of a tree, it sweeps around like that. And it's going to come out of there like that. And it's going to come along. If you want, if it's easier for you, you could draw the branches coming out over the top of this so that it's easier for you and you can just colour them in. Otherwise, just draw them in with the actual brush, you can do that too. And I'm going to just bring these branches coming along here, like that. And just let it go. I want to come under there. You can see where I've positioned mine. And then I might do another little branch coming off there, like that. Little thin one going way over there somewhere. Another one there. And this one's just going to carry on until it stops somewhere there, with another little thin one coming away from it, like that. And you've got to really be careful when you get to the ends, of course, because the ends of branches, they end thinner, don't they? That's the thickest part there, and it gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then you get little ones growing off, and they end up with the thickness of your finger. So they're right over there somewhere. Now I want another branch to be coming out as well, and I'm going to bring another one coming out of here, about there, and it's going to sweep over like this and thicken it up a little bit here, like that. Have it going off. Remember, as long as you keep it going thinner as it comes away from the side of the trunk, the branches will look more natural. That's coming off over there somewhere like that, getting thinner and thinner and thinner, like that. And then I'm going to bring another one coming out of here, like that. And then I'm going to bring some thin ones coming off of this one, just thin, very thin. So just use the tip of the brush, like that. You can put some really thin ones on as well, that all adds to it. See that? Makes it look more realistic. Another one coming out of here, say. Another one there. I'm just making it up as I go along really. You can do the same with yours. Another one there. that. Looks nice. Okay. Let's bring that around there a bit more. Okay, now I'm going to put my cat on. And my cat is quite a simple shape really. He's going to be, I think I'm going to position him just there and the moon will be to the side of him. So this is the left hand side body of my cat, like this. That's just the body, coming round like that. And the other one there like that. And bring the neck up a little bit. Now again, you can draw this if you want to. Just colour that in a little bit. And I'm going to give him a slightly ovalish head. And remember, it's just a silhouette. It's just a silhouette, so colour that in. Nice black. Keep adding water to your black and more paint as well, because if you add too much water to paint, you'll end up with a colour that's going to dry quite light. But we can always give it 2 coats anyway. Now I'm going to colour my cat's head in. Like this. Put out a bit more of that. And then we're going to put some ears on him. And whiskers in a minute. And of course a tail. And there's his ears going in now. Be careful what you lean on, of course, or dry it. And then there's the ears. Another one there. Colour it in. Like that. And then I'm going to do the cat's tail. Coming around here, it's going to drop down like that and back up, and then it's going to come all the way up into this area, and it's going to be in that area there like that. So you've got to get a nice little sweep on that. There it is, just broken there a little bit. I'll just carefully come around this side and get that coloured in there. Like that. And there's my cat. Now I'm going to do some whiskers. So now it might be easier if you've got black pencils to do the whiskers with that. Otherwise, just get your flat brush. A flat brush is one that has a square end on it. And if you hold it up tight, I'm just going to get my glasses for this bit. You can put the whiskers on that way with that. And they just come out like this. 1, 2, 3, and around the other side. 1, 2, 3, like that. My brush separated a little bit there as I did it and did more whiskers. And there he is. And any little areas that need colouring in, you can do. If it's a little bit weak in places. Like that. Touching any little areas where the paint is sort of a little bit thinner, and then we'll dry them off. And then I'm going to show you what you can do with a pastel. And this time it has to be dried off really well. some pastel chalks and soft pastels I'm talking about, and we're going to actually use those to put some highlights onto our silhouette shapes.
I'm still doing the sky.
Don't you worry, it's fine. You can use a purple like this and just put a little bit of colour on the side of the tree that's facing there. This is a purpley colour. I'm not just going to use purple. So I'm just going to keep it on that side for now. And the underside of there a little bit. Around the side of our cat. And this is our first highlight, like that. And a little bit on that side of the tail, and a little bit under there. And I'm going to drag those colours round, just gently with my thumb, look, just pull it round, like that. And on there, under there, just pull it. And then here, just pull it round the tree, like down and round. Just pull it across. And it creates these nice highlights on the side, like that. See, that gives it a bit more magical sort of shine on the tree and the cat. And then I've got a lighter version of that colour. This is like a lilac-y colour. And then I can put extra little highlights on it, on that side of the ear there. Just little bits. Less than you did on the other one. You can drag that around a little bit too. Like that. In there. Not too much, just here and there on this with this one. Like that. And then you can put some highlights only in this colour, nearer the moony part in the middle. And just go with the tops of these branches and go with the underside of these ones, like this. And then just to finish it off, we can do a little bit more detail work with a black pencil, just an ordinary black colouring pencil. These ones are good, I like these ones. These are those stripy black and white ones made by, they're made by Stabilo. These are good, these ones. It's got a point on it, but I'm going to just sharpen it up a little bit more because I want it to be quite crisp. So I'm going to just give that a whiz in the old sharpener. Evie, what's wrong? Evie's going, no, what's wrong, Evie?
I just put black on my fingers and then I just wiped it on the purple.
Ah, so Evie got the black on her fingers and then she got it onto this area. That's always a little bit of a problem, of course, but there is a way of dealing with it. And that's to get a clean brush, clean water, and just wet the brush in your clean water. And what you do is, with the black, you just go over it lightly, dry your brush off, and then hoover up the dirt, okay, the dirty colour. You'll still have a bit of a mark there, but it won't be as bad as a black splodge. And then after you've dried it, you can try touching it in with pastel so it doesn't look so bad. It will always show a little bit, being such a dark colour on such a light colour. Oh, you got rid of it. She's got rid of it. She's done it. Brilliant. Well done. Now, so I've got a black pencil. I've sharpened it up a bit more. And this is just for doing. Make sure your hand's clean there. See, I've got a little bit of black on my hand there. That's all right though. It won't hurt me because it's dry. But it's probably where I was leaning on something. And it's very easy, if that was wet, to lean on it again and do another problem. So that's all dry. That's all clean. Now I'm going to start bringing some extra little branches off with the black. These are only twigs and sticks with the black pencil, and I can actually make some of the ones I'd already done longer with some thinner ones coming off. And you get a nicer effect, colouring in any little areas where you didn't go over it. And it really does help to finish off the ends. And if you want to, you can bring some thin ones off too, which were never painted. But it's very difficult to tell what's been painted and what hasn't been, as long as you've got a nice strong black. And if you haven't got a strong black pencil, because some of them are thinner and not quite as crisp, you can just go over it a couple of times or 3 times even, just to give you that darker line. But with these Stabilo pencils, they tend to be strong straight from the off. I can also thin out the whiskers like this. put some thin ones in, and even add one there, another one in there. And if you want, you could even do a bit of a furry top to your cat's head, like that, if you want to. And if you want to put that one's more pointed that ear than that one when I coloured it with the paint, so now's my time where I can just, if I want to, just put a bit more of a point on that, like that. And it was a bit scruffy there, so I'm just colouring in that bit there. There we go. See, it looks pretty cool now. And really, that's all needs to be done. I mean, you could add birds if you wanted to do some birds. I'm not going to do it on my one. I'm going to keep it as it is. I think you could do with an extra bit of a thin branch there, though. Like that. And there we are. Now, Evie, I know, isn't finished yet.
No.
But you know what? I have to do these fairly quick in order to keep them interesting, okay? If I was stood here like this for a while waiting for Evie to catch up, or any of you at home, it'd make for a pretty boring video. But what you can do is you can pause me like that, and then and then you can catch up, and then you push play again, and then you watch a bit more, and then you pause, and then you can get it all done in stages, and by the end you'll have something like that. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it. A nice one there. I really think that's quite stylish. Look lovely in the frame, actually, behind glass. Nice for any bedroom wall. All right then, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.